Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Today we're going to have a look at this brand new sampler that just came out from Sonicware. It is the Lofi 12. This is a sampler. It's a 4-track sampler, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it has 10 voices that you can share through the 4 tracks. So the Lofi 12 can sample at 24K or 12K. And you can access that just by going into the function button and then accessing the settings, right? Goes to frequency, and then you can choose between 12K or 24K. And it samples at 16-bit, all right? 16-bit 24, 16-bit 12. And with 12, you can sample up to 4 seconds. With 24, you can sample up to 2 seconds. All right, and you can access the 12-bit mode by going into the function and going into 12-bit right there. Okay, so we're going to get into the machine, explain how everything works, but those are the first things that you need to know. Of course, this machine is one of the cheapest samplers out there for the amount of functionality that it has. I think it's around $250. And yeah, it packs a punch with the amount of functions that it comes with. So it is a deep machine. It comes with an LFO. It has a filter, different type of filters. Filters come also with an attack and decay. You can play polyphonically inside of one track. And if you know anything about electronic products, of course you can use step sequencing, and you have parameter locks right there. So you can have different samples within one track, and you can just automate that by going into one step and changing the sample that you want into that step. The machine comes with 8 banks. This is where you access the samples right there. Comes with 8 banks, and each bank comes with 16 slots. So we can have in one project, we can have up to 128 samples. Of course, each sample can only go up to 4 seconds maximum. But I think really the intention here is to kind of take us back into an old school way of making music, which would be to speed up a sample before you sample it into the machine, and then you slow it down, you pitch it down here on the keyboard. So it's very easy to work with. You got a play button right there. It's the stop as well. Each track can have its own length. You access the length by going into the function and length. It says 16 steps, or if you want 32, you can say 32, 48, or 64. So you can see it right there. These are the steps for the sequencer. 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages, 4 pages as well. You can also, this is one of the great things about this sequencer as well, is that you can have each track have its own length. So one track can be 16, the other track can be the other track can be 32, the other one can be 64, or they can have different lengths. You can also say that it's going to be 25, or you can even say that one track is just going to be 6 steps, right? So this track right here has the sample, and if we play, yeah, you have up to 4 tracks. You can mute your tracks right here. You mute a track like that, holding the function down, and mute and unmute the track. Yeah, and let's talk about the function in the shift. So the shift is going to access all these encoders right here, and these ones as well. So you have big letters above, small letters below that. So if you want to access the start point of the sample, you can do it right there. Lay back, you can do it right there just by holding the shift button right there. And if you want to just lock it in place, you just press shift and you lock the shift, so you don't have to be pressing it on all the time, and it's free for you to turn the knobs like that. Yeah, this comes with effects as well. You can access that via the function. So press function, and you can say that this track number 1, can have a chorus, flanger, delay, crush, distortion, low pass, high pass, isolator, tilt EQ, tremolo, compressor, and that's it. Okay, or you turn the effects off, and that is per track. So this is the drum track right now. We can access maybe a compressor. Right, cool. So that's the compressor, and this is where you turn the amount for the effects. It's right here. It says effects right there. You have always 2 options right here for the effects, the amount that you want, and then you have another function for that same effect. And you can look up on the manual the function for this one. It says speed, but it relates to a certain parameter within that effect. So as I was saying, this is per track. So if I go to track number 2, you have access to the same effects right there. Okay, I'm using the delay for this track. As you can see, track number 1, I'm using the compressor right now. I wasn't using it before. And other effects that we have the stutter, the random, and we have the dice right there. I forgot the name for that effect. That is probabilities right there. Okay, and all of these effects that you see here on the gray, all these can be applied just for a step. They can be applied for the entire track, or you can lock it into just one step. To access the stutter, you press on the function. Stutter, it's on. You can see that the light turns on. And right now, you can press on any of these steps that are turned on, and it will apply that effect. So that was the stutter effect. We're going to turn that off. We're going to go into the random. And the random has two buttons here that you got to work with. One is the random to turn on and off. So it turns the effect on and off. And these are the steps in which the sequencer is going to randomize. So either 2 steps is always going to randomize between 2 steps like that, between 4 steps, 8 steps, or 16 like that. Okay. So let's just hit 2. And if you notice, once we turn the random on, it's always going to be randomizing between 2 steps. So let's go. So those are the 2 effects that we have here for the step sequencer. Then we have this probability dice right there. And to access the probability, hit shift and turn that knob right there. But I'm going to lock the shift, so shift function. And I'll hold the step and turn that probability up. So you can go from 25 all the way up to 100. If you turn it down to 25, it has a very low probability of actually triggering. So that step is actually a kick. It only triggers sometimes, and it just makes the track feel more alive. And that's probabilities for the steps. You can also turn the probability on for the entire track, and it just gets crazy like that. Some of the things, of course, you want to use to edit the sample is the release and the attack. You have it right there. You can do that for all of the triggers in the track, or you can just apply it to one step. Everything here can be automated just to one step or to the entire track. You have an LFO, and the LFO is for the pitch and the filter. You have velocity. I really like this function actually. Because these are not sensitive pads, you can actually tap on the pad and choose the velocity you want before you record it into the pad, so that will be automated into the step sequencer as well. Pattern level is right there, so you can say that this pattern, all of it can go down in volume. You have the level just for the track. You have a pan for the track. You can pitch the track right here up and down like that, or you can transpose it as well, or with a value knob. The value knob is always right there, very handy. You can turn that instead of using the other ways of turning values. It's good for very small increments. You can use the value for that as well. You got the volume, got the BPM, global BPM, or you have BPM just for the pattern. You have aligning right there, volume for the sampler. We're going to sample in a bit. You got octaves up and down. And if you go here to another track, you can access all the samples straight from the bank right there. You have instruments. You can play an instrument straight from here, or you have a bass lines as well that you can create. So in this case, we actually recorded straight into the sequencer by playing it this way, but you can record into the sequencer just by pressing on the pad, pressing on one of the keys, and just pressing the step sequencer like that, okay? Super easy to input notes, and while you're here, you can maybe change the note that you want, but you have to know if the track is in polyphonic mode, because if it is in polyphonic mode, you're going to be adding notes into the step, right? But if it is in monophonic, and you can access the modes right here for the track, poly, mono, legato, and arpeggiator, right? So if it's in mono, you can actually just change the note by pressing on the keys. Right, so if you noticed, I changed the release right there, so you can change the release for each note. Any of these steps can be automated, so it's super cool, and it's super easy to create bass lines this way. You can just add a note right there, add another step, maybe change it and increase the release or not, and yeah, it's super easy to create bass lines like this. You can also just change the level for one of the steps. Let's go and change the velocity just for this step, right? let's actually bring up another sample. So I'm actually going to sample something, and I'm going to go into the track number 4, okay? And first, before we can sample anything, we need to choose the slot to which we're going to sample to. So it's very important. If we don't do that, it's going to overwrite whatever sample is in that slot. So normally we can go into an available slot by going to the user, and I'm going to go into step. This already has something in here. Okay, step 16 is free, and I'm going to sample into slot number 16. Okay, to sample is easy, just go function sampling, all right? And then you just pick a sample and sample it in, right? And I'm sampling at 12K, so you can do that by going into the settings. It shows right there that, oh, actually I was at 24. I'm going to sample at 12K, and it's going to give me 4 seconds to sample, right? I'm going to sample this just so we can also use another function, which is the loop inside of the sample. So we can loop a certain area of the sample and just sustain it for as long as we want. So we're going to do that. So let's go into function sampling, and I'm going to sample this. Notice that you'll see these lines pop up, and that's the level, incoming level of the sample. Right, we can make it louder a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to sample that. So I'm going to have 4 seconds to sample once I start recording. It's waiting for the signal. Let's go. So I had that pop at the beginning. I don't want that. Let's start again. Okay. Just press OK, and now it's saved into slot number 16. I'm just going to say OK to this, and maybe lower. So we have the sample. You can play it chromatically if you want. You can play it polyphonically or in mono or in legato mode. So legato mode actually changes the pitch during the playback of the sample. So I want to loop that last bit of the sample. To do that, we're going to access the sample mode, all right? So let's do that. So this comes with a unit, okay, and it's another level for the sampler, for the sample and edit. So it just opens up new tools that we can use to loop the sample. We need to go into the function and turn the sample, sorry, not this, function in this. Press OK on that. And now we're editing the slot number 16. Just put that there to help us navigate here this section. So what we want to do is turn the loop on. Okay, so this is the loop area. So off, and now it's on. And I want it to loop. It keeps on repeating that sample, right? So super easy. We don't need this anymore. We can just press OK, save, and we're good to go. So clear this. Well, I like that, so I'm going to keep that, and I'm going to make sure that it only triggers sometimes. So I'm going to go into the probability, and just turn that into 25. And that's it. Okay, so we also have the reverb right here. We can apply this to the entire song just by turning the reverb all the way up. And we can change the type of reverb that we're using. So here where it says reverb, we can access different type of reverbs, and at the end, tape mode for vinyl simulator mode as well. So let's just try the reverb and then jump onto those. Okay, for you to save something, you go into the save function, save, and then just press OK, and it's done. It saves it into the unit. You can turn it off, and it will be there once you turn it on again. You can save all this via MIDI, so you can just connect this to your computer. If you have an audio interface with MIDI, then it will send all the information there. Updates will come to the machine via MIDI as well, from what I understand. And yeah, you can save all your samples via MIDI and just upload stuff via MIDI as well. I mean, there's a lot of things that we didn't talk about, but I just really wanted to give you a taste for the machine. I will be using this in the future as well. I like using this on the side of my MPC. It does things that the MPC can never reach because the step sequencer is beautiful and the MPC doesn't have this type of workflow. Yeah, I didn't mention, but yes, you can chain sequences. You can chain patterns and create a whole song by chaining patterns. But yeah, thanks to Sonicware for sending in the machine. Loving it, and definitely will be part of the arsenal from now on. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.